Alright, so you all know how much I love Asian food, so it was only a matter of time before I tried to make dumpling. The filling. Firstly, I minced up some pork. It's a pretty tedious process, so I'll probably buy it pre-minced next time. After what felt like an hour, the pork was minced and I put it in a bowl. I chopped up some cabbage, spring onions, cilantro, garlic, and ginger. I gave the pork a little swirl, toasting the garlic and ginger, swirled, added some soy sauce, swirled, the spring onion and cilantro, swirled, then I added the cabbage and an egg for binding. The recipe said it was important to only swirl in one direction because science. I covered the filling and put it on the side. The wrappers. I added 2 cups of flour to a bowl, tossed in half a teaspoon of salt and mixed. Poured in a cup of water and mixed. I then dusted my work surface with some flour and kneaded the dough for 10 minutes. I then put it in a bowl which I had dusted with some flour. I covered it and I set it aside to rest. The sauce. To a small bowl, I added 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of chili oil, a teaspoon of sugar, some spring onions and mixed. After 20 minutes, the dough had rested enough. I stretched it out until it looked like a really long dough. I then divided the long dough into small, even pieces. I formed one piece into a bowl, dusted my work surface with some flour, then proceeded to form it into a wrapper using a rolling pin. So I rolled it until it was quite thin, but also firm enough to hold the filling. I scooped up some filling with a tablespoon and put it right in the center of the wrapper. I pinched it together with my thumb and my index finger. Then I twisted the... this is hard to explain, just watch. And there it is. If you don't have the time or the patience to make it all fancy, you can of course just pinch it shut like this. After I made a bunch, it was time to cook. I poured a bit of oil in a pan, added the dumplings, and fried until the base brown. I then mixed a tablespoon of flour into a cup of water and poured it in the pan. I then put my super fancy lid on the pan and let the dumplings steam for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the water was gone and the flour had formed a little crust on the base of the pan. I set them on a plate and indulged. The wrappers were perfectly soft and chewy. The filling was amazing. The sauce, dude, I'd probably drink that as is.